everyone, welcome to Books Ladder. Guys, a few years back I was visiting this Delhi book fair and all of a sudden I got my eye on this book, which is this one, Balraj, My Brother. And the moment I saw this book, the film Do Biga Zameen and this character, it came alive to my mind. And I thought that I should buy this book and read more about this person. And he is, some of you who have known this face, he is one of the best Indian actors ever. And at that time, he got no fancy names such as Mahanayak or King or Mr. Perfectionist, but he is, believe me, guys, he is indeed the best and best of Indian film industry person and actor. Well, this book, as you can see, the title Balraj, My Brother, is written by his younger brother, who is Mr. Bhishma Sahani, the well-known Indian writer. And if you look at this cover page, I always analyze it. This color, I think it is the print color at that time for the films. And look at this face, a nice man. Those eyes speak a lot in every movies. If you see of Mr. Balraj, Kabli Wala, Garm Hawa, or Do Biga Zameen, these eyes tells more. The dialogue delivery plus these eyes, ultimate combination. So this book is a memoir by, and I believe, I'm glad that it is written by his younger brother, because the way he idolizes his elder brother and the way he noted every detail, it is commendable. So this book, it starts with the birth of Mr. Balraj, and he was born in undivided India at Rawalpindi, and he was the first male child of the family, and he was very brilliant from the start. He was very well educated, and his father is also a very well known personality in the area, and he was a businessman. And Mr. Balraj, many of you don't know that his first name before Balraj, it was Yudhishthir, but because his aunt can't pronounce this Yudhishthir and always relate it to register, so they decided to not to go with that complicated name and named him as Balraj. Well, uh, if we think that if you talk about his early childhood days, he was very brilliant and sharp in memorizing. So he studied at the DAV school, and then for higher studies, he went to Lahore and did his English masters in English. And after that, he came back from Lahore and got married. And he somehow realized that he want to become a writer, and he is a very well-known writer. Also, he also wrote some poetry in Punjabi language, and then he decided to shift to Shanti Niketan under the guidance of Guru Rabindranath Ji, and then he spent some time there, and then he spent time with with Bapu, with Mahatma Gandhi, of course, at Sevagram, and it was Mr. Gandhi who guided Balraj to go to England. And in England, Mr. Balraj Sahni, he worked as an announcer in the TV, in the radio for BBC Network Indian section. And few years later, he came back to India, and that was during, I believe, in the late 40s that he started acting in films. And at that time the film budget was low and somehow it was hanging somewhere, but luckily he got away with that. And there are some beautiful pictures in the book also, Mr. Balraj, his family, his wife, and the scenes from Do Biga Zameen. This is Dharti Ke Lal. So it is very lively. The book is about the and he is also a political prisoner for some time. But also in the book, there's an incident which I particularly want to mention with you, is the like when he was preparing for Do Biga Zameen. So I wondered that nowadays when some movie comes, there are a lot of discussions that this character, this actor did 3 months of training, physical exercise and mental training for this, preparing this role. But I always wondered that how Mr. Balraj at that time, which was early in 1550s, I think the movie came out in 1954 or 56, though, because I mean, so I always wondered that how he prepared such a rich person in his personal life, very well educated, how he managed to play that rickshaw puller character. So in this, at the last end of the book, there was an account which mentions that when Mr. Balraj was acting, performing a scene in Calcutta, he rickshaw puller, a real rickshaw puller, he saw this all happening, and then he asked Mr. Balraj that what are you doing? Then Mr. Balraj, he was a very humble person, so he chatted with the rickshaw puller, and he said that we are acting, and I'm performing the role of a rickshaw puller. So, and I want to get my land back from the landlord. So the rickshaw puller at that time, he got burst into tears, and he said that, Babuji, this is my story. Babuji, this is my story. And he cried and he said that I'm working in Calcutta for 15 years to fulfill my debt, to repay my debt to the landlord and get my land back. But it seems impossible for me. So at that time, Mr. Balraj, who was uh, getting disappointed because he was not able to perform the role well, and he thought at some point that he cannot do justice to the character. He rest and he kept all things apart and said all things at one side, and said to himself, he promised himself that this is a responsibility which I need to do, and no acting book, no method can teach me. But that rickshaw puller story, those tears of his which came out from his eyes, I need to do this role, and I will do justice with the role. And I believe me, guys, if you saw this film, though, because I mean, you will cry. It is one of the best depictions ever. And Mr. Balraj is also very much fond of towards the students and to visiting universities. He also visited Jawaharlal Nehru University in Delhi and gave a thrilling and a very energetic speech there. And he is also very politically sound, and he always speaks up. He opens his mind, unlike these celebrities today. They don't speak a lot because they don't want to get involved into the bureaucracy, but he always put his heart forward. And Mr. Balraj also faced, and in front of him came very losses in the life, personal grounds. His wife died, the first wife, she died very early, and his younger daughter, elder daughter, I think she also very died very early. So this all pain comes to in his life, but Mr. Balraj, till his last breath, rested very committed towards his work, which is working in film industry. And believe me, guys, if you want to read this book, you will definitely get a lot to know about Mr. Balraj Sahni. And I'm sure you will also count him as one of your favorite actors. And if you have any favorite actor, so instead of going to Google or somewhere on the other websites, read their autobiographies or read books on them, so you will understand that how they prepare for some character, and how much benefit and they are doing, and how much they are facing in their real life, but still managing to play a character. That is amazing. So that is it. I haven't prepared anything special for this video, because it's coming right from the my heart. He is my idol, I think, and a lot to be done, and he deserves a lot appraised from the Indian film industry. So thank you so much, guys, and do subscribe my channel and like the video and share this video with your friends, and I will come back with more books review. Thank you so much. Have a nice